The redundancy principle considers the duplication of text. It has been proven through research that redundant text in e-learning courses is overwhelming for the learner. When sharing graphics to aid learning, the instructor should use either on-screen text or audio narration, not both. Further research suggests that audio narration is much more beneficial to pair with a graphic because it allows the learner to listen to the narration and see the image. If there were on-screen text with the narration and graphic, the visual channel would ultimately be forced into overload. The learner cannot focus on both the graphic and the on-screen text while listening to narration too, so only minimal information would be taken in from the visuals. The redundancy effect then refers to the learning process being hindered. Often educators attempt to teach to a variety of learning styles. The learning styles hypothesis suggests that some people have visual learning styles while others have auditory. The accommodating hypothesis attempts to meet the needs of every individual rather than suggesting that one size fits all. The learning styles hypothesis is based on the information acquisition theory, which suggests that learning is about receiving information, and thus having three pieces of text, narration, on-screen text, and graphic, is better than two, which would be the graphic and narration. However, researchers argue that the learning styles hypothesis is striking and disturbing because it creates unwarranted assumptions about how people learn, and without credible research, there is little information to prove that having three ways of delivering information is better than two. The next two slides will show similar images, but one will be a good example of the redundancy principle in effect, and the other a bad. Here's an image pertaining to the f-number or f-stop. The image is a guide to the amount of light that is being let in due to the manual adjustments of the user. As you can see, there is text below the image. The narration reads almost identical to the on-screen text. This example is a violation of the redundancy principle. This image then contradicts the first, as it demonstrates a positive example of the redundancy effect. The image is identical to that on the previous slide, but there is no on-screen text. Instead, only narration is used. The learner is then able to study the image while listening to the narration. A web-based learning tool should be used using this principle, but the designer should pay close attention to the level and experience of their target audience, the subject matter, and they should also consider a timeline when following this principle. If the designer is creating a module that is controlled by the user, or it is known that the audience does not speak the language that the course will be instructed in, or there are no pictures, he or she may consider using on-screen text so that the learner is given the help that they require. If the WBLT designer is developing a course that will be guided by an instructor and there are accompanying images, he or she should not use on-screen text so the learner is not overwhelmed. Guidelines for using this principle. When you're using on-screen text, you should consider that there are no pictures, that the learner has enough time to fully process the pictures and words, that the learner faces language barriers, or if there are few keywords that are placed in correspondence to the picture. You should not use on-screen text when the words or pictures are presented simultaneously at a fast pace. Overall, there has been extensive research done with a variety of different groups using different types of tests, and it has been proven that generally narration paired with graphics is much more effective for the learning process than narration, on-screen text, and graphics.